Hey there, it's Barb and Jack Moose. We are back for another session, and I hope that you are all feeling fine and ready to sing along just as you have the last 6 weeks. This has flown by and we're just going to keep doing them. Jack and I are back in our original spot. I am wearing a different shirt as promised and a different t-shirt too, different slacks, and I'm not wearing a hat today. I don't know whether it was the Tilted movie or just, I'm just not a hat wearer. So we'll see what happens with the hair as we go along. We're going to do quite a few that you will know today, and this was not really planned, but the songs I picked as I looked through the authors of them, I found that Dan Emmett was the author of a couple of them. And Dan Emmett was a singer, actor, he was an entertainer, in the mid-1800s, and he also wrote Dixie. We're going to do a couple of others that he wrote, Polly Wolly Doodle, and then we'll finish with Dan Tucker. So let's start with this one. This is kind of a silly song, and he wrote this to have no meaning whatsoever. It's just kind of a fun song, a little bit like Oh Susanna, in that you think, did he really say that? Is that possible? We'll find out. Well, I went down south to see my gal singing Polly Wolly Doodle all day. My Sal is a spunky gal singing Polly Wolly Doodle all day. Fare thee well, fare thee well, fare thee well, my fairy fay. I'm going to Louisiana for to see my Susiana singing Polly Wolly Doodle all day. My gal is a maiden fair singing Polly Wolly Doodle all day, with curly eyes and laughing hair singing Polly Wolly Doodle all day. Fare thee well, fare thee well, fare thee well, my fairy fay. I'm going to Louisiana for to see my Susiana singing Polly Wolly Doodle all day. Behind the barn down on my knees singing Polly Wolly Doodle all day. I thought I heard a chicken sneeze singing Polly Wolly Doodle all day. Fare thee well, fare thee well, fare thee well, my fairy fay. I'm going to Louisiana for to see my Susiana singing Polly Wolly Doodle all day. He sneezed so hard with a whooping cough singing Polly Wolly Doodle all day. He sneezed his head and his tail right off singing Polly Wolly Doodle all day. Fare thee well, fare thee well, fare thee well, my fairy fay. I'm going to Louisiana for to see my Susiana singing Polly Wolly Doodle all day. Oh, a grasshopper sitting on a railroad track singing Polly Wolly Doodle all day, picking his teeth with a carpet tack singing Polly Wolly Doodle all day. Fare thee well, fare thee well, fare thee well, my fairy fay. I'm going to Louisiana for to see my Susiana singing Polly Wolly Doodle all day. Well, I went to bed, but it wasn't any use singing Polly Wolly Doodle all day. My feet stuck out like a chicken roost singing Polly Wolly Doodle all day. Fare thee well, fare thee well, fare thee well, my fairy fay. I'm going to Louisiana for to see my Susiana singing Polly Wolly Doodle all day. I'm going to Louisiana for to see my Susiana singing Polly Wolly Doodle all day. Thank you, Dan Emmett. Look him up. He's a fascinating character. Now, if you're wondering about the view here, and perhaps since I haven't videoed with this technique for quite a while, I usually use my smartphone to video and it gives fabulous results. But part of it died this morning, and so I had to come up with another method since I won't get a new one until tomorrow. The phone itself is fine, but the screen is totally blank, so I can't see what the heck I'm doing. So I've tried to make Jack Moose lie this way, and just in case he gets out of screen, I have my Jack Moose t-shirt up here so that you can see him no matter what. It was a little hard to find the clothespins though, although I finally did remember where I put them. Not everyone can lay their hands on clothespins at a moment's notice. I don't know whether that's good or bad that I can. Here's a song written in 1925 by Sam Lewis and Joe Young, and the lyrics were by them, and the music is by a fellow named Ray Henderson. and it was always one of my favorites. We're going to do it twice. It's short. 5'2", eyes of blue. Oh, what those 5 feet could do. Has anybody seen my gal? Turned up nose, turned down hose, never had no other beaus. Has anybody seen my gal? Now if you run into a 5'2", all covered in furs, diamond rings, all those things, bet your life it isn't her. But could she love, could she woo, could she coo? Has anybody seen my gal? 5'2", eyes of blue. Oh, what those 5 feet could do. Has anybody seen my gal? Turned up nose, turned down hose, never had no other beaus. Has anybody seen my gal? Now if you run into a 5'2", all covered in furs, diamond rings, all those things, bet your life it isn't her. But could she love, could she woo, could she coo? Has anybody seen my gal? 1925. Let's do a cowboy song. I like cowboy songs. Besides, on this one, I get to yodel. We'll see if I can. Usually I can. I was informed when I moved to Norfolk, Nebraska and joined the Methodist Church Choir, and I was informed by the choir director and his wife, Dave and Jean Anderson, at a party one time when I was doing my Tarzan yell, and that's a whole other story. We don't want to get into that right now, but I can do that too. Anyway, they said, you know, if you can do that, you could yodel. And by golly, they were right. So this is by way of a long, long roundabout story dedicated to Dave and Jean Anderson. As I was a-walkin' one morning for pleasure, I spied a cowpuncher a-riding along. His hat was throwed back, his spurs was a-jingling. As he approached, he was singing this song. Whoopee-tie-yi-yo, get along, little dogies, it's your misfortune and none of my own. Whoopee-tie-yi-yo, get along, little dogies, you know that Wyoming will be your new home. Ooh, 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 ole, ole. Ole, 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 ole. Early in the springtime we round up those dogies. We mark 'em and brand 'em and bob off their tails. We round up the horses, load up the chuck wagons, throw those little dogies out on the long trail. Whoopee-tie-yi-yo, get along, little dogies, it's your misfortune and none of my own. Whoopee-tie-yi-yo, get along, little dogie, you know that Wyoming will be your new home. Ooh, ole, ole. We'll ride on the prairies, across the wide rivers, on through the flats where there's never a town. Our horses are weary, we're tired and we're hungry, still those little dogies keep roaming around. Whoopee-tie-yi-yo, get along, little dogies, it's your misfortune and none of my own. Whoopee-tie-yi-yo, get along, little dogies, you know that Wyoming will be your new home. Ooh, ole, ole. Now some boys go up on the long trail for pleasure. That's where they get it most awfully wrong. You'll never know the trouble they give us as we go a-driving them Dogies along. Whoopee-tie-yi-yo, get along, little Dogies. It's your misfortune and none of my own. Whoopee-tie-yi-yo, get along, little Dogies. You know that Wyoming will be your new home. Olé, 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 olé. I don't think I'm going to win any contest with that yodel, but it's kind of fun. Give it a try sometimes. You never know until you try it. That's the best part of this. All right. We have a tune here that is pretty old. Nobody knows for sure where it came from, but there are versions of it overseas in Scotland and Ireland and England, and there's a version here. And I like it because it's just another one of those silly songs. Nobody knows for sure who wrote it either, and those are the best kind I've found. Talks about a fellow named Billy Boy, and he kind of wants to get married, but he's not really sure. And so I think in singing this song that he's putting in a lot of excuses. Oh, where have you been, Billy boy, Billy boy? Oh, where have you been, Charmin Billy? I have been to seek a wife, she's the joy of my life. She's a young thing and cannot leave her mother. Oh, where does she live, Billy boy, Billy boy? Oh, where does she live, Charmin Billy? She lives on the hill, 40 miles from the mill. She's a young thing and cannot leave her mother. Did she bid you to come in, Billy boy, Billy boy? Did she bid you to come in, Charmin Billy? Yes, she bade me to come in and to kiss her on the chin. She's a young thing and cannot leave her mother. Did she ask to take your hat, Billy boy, Billy boy? Did she ask to take your hat, Charmin Billy? Yes, she asked to take my hat, then she threw it on the cat. She's a young thing and cannot leave her mother. Did she set for you a chair, Billy boy, Billy boy? Did she set for you a chair, Charmin Billy? Yes, she set for me a chair, but the bottom wasn't there. She's a young thing and cannot leave her mother. Can she bake a cherry pie, Billy boy, Billy boy? Can she bake a cherry pie, Charmin Billy? She can bake a cherry pie quick as a cat can wink its eye, but she's a young thing and cannot leave her mother. Can she milk a heifer calf, Billy boy, Billy boy? Can she milk a heifer calf, Charmin Billy? Yes, she can, and not miss the bucket more than half. She's a young thing and cannot leave her mother. Are her eyes very bright, Billy boy, Billy boy? Are her eyes very bright, Charmin Billy? Yes, her eyes are very bright, but alas, they're minus sight. She's a young thing and cannot leave her mother. Can she sing a pretty song, Billy boy, Billy boy? Can she sing a pretty song, Charmin Billy? She can sing a pretty song, but she often sings it wrong. She's a young thing and cannot leave her mother. How old may she be, Billy boy, Billy boy? How old may she be, Charmin Billy? 3 times 6 and 4 times 7, 28 plus 11. She's a young thing and cannot leave her mother. 3 times 6 and 4 times 7, 28 plus 11. She's a young thing and cannot leave her mother. I'll leave that to you to figure that out. Have you got it? 3 times 6 and 4 times 7, 28 plus 11. You'll get it. That's the beauty of the song. She's not that young. All right, let's go back to Dan Tucker. Written by Dan Emmett. Dan Emmett, as I mentioned earlier, his father was in the Revolutionary War, and Dan served in the Civil War. He also wrote the Fife and Drum manual for the Union troops. And then he went on to become a performer. It was before vaudeville, but it was like the traveling minstrel shows. And he was very well known and wrote a number of songs. He wrote Dixie when he was in New York. Had nothing to do with the South, but it was taken up by the South. And then he wrote this one, Old Dan Tucker, and he wrote Polly Wolly Doodle, and a lot more. So this is a good old song about a fella. Everybody knows him. Every town has a fella like this, I think, or a woman. Went to town the other night to hear the noise and see the fight. The people, they was running around crying, Old Dan Tucker's come to town. Get out the way for Old Dan Tucker. He's too late to get his supper. Supper's over and dinner's cooking. Old Dan Tucker just stands there looking. When Old Dan Tucker would come to town, he'd swing the ladies round and round. First to the left, then to the right, then to the gal that he loves the best. Get out the way for Old Dan Tucker. He's too late to get his supper. Supper's over and dinner's cooking. Old Dan Tucker would stand there looking. Old Dan Tucker, he'd come to town, riding on a billy goat, leading the hound. The hound dog bark, the billy goat jump. Old Dan Tucker on top of a stump. Get out the way for Old Dan Tucker. He's too late to get his supper. Supper's over and dinner's cooking. Old Dan Tucker just stands there looking. Old Dan Tucker, he got drunk, fell in the fire and he kicked up a chunk. Red hot coal got in his shoe. Oh my Lord, how the ashes flew. Get out the way for Old Dan Tucker. He's too late to get his supper. Supper's over and dinner's cooking. Old Dan Tucker just stands there looking. Old Dan Tucker is a fine old man, washed his face in a frying pan, combed his hair with a wagon wheel, died of a toothache in his heel. Get out the way for Old Dan Tucker. He's too late to get his supper. Supper's over and dinner's cooking. Old Dan Tucker just stands there looking. Get out the way for Old Dan Tucker. He's too late to get his supper. Supper's over and dinner's cooking. Old Dan Tucker just stands there looking. All right, we are done for this session, and I know it's a little shorter than some, but I'm a little leery of how long I can record on this surrogate device that I'm using, so I would rather cut it short and get it all the first time, rather than have to redo it 12 times and still not do a very good job of it. So Jack Moose and I bid you a farewell until next Friday, and we hope you stay well. Use your own common sense. And if you don't think you should go somewhere, even if it's open, don't go. And if you need to go somewhere, take the appropriate cautions and go. And then come home and wash your hands and don't touch your face, for golly's sake. Be safe, keep your loved ones safe, and we will see you next Friday. Bye!